Welcome, all you powerful manifestors, to the AOM Art of Manifestation channel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Manifestation Coach Sterling Mire. Today's episode, I have a guest, Josette Mancini, joining us, who's been learning and applying the law of attraction and manifestation techniques to her life for how many years? How long do you think you've been on this journey?
I'd say like close to 20. No, I read The Secret when it came out almost 20 years ago. I was intrigued, but I felt it only scratched the surface. It was a great read. It was interesting. I saw the movie, and I also watched a lot of Bob Proctor videos, and I felt there was something to this. And at the very least, I felt it encouraged clear goal setting and a positive mindset, which is great. And I'm an instructional designer. I do a lot of corporate training, and I love motivational content. And I saw some results.
Okay, I got it. You had mentioned to me how you had a lot of extraordinary success by utilizing the knowledge that you gained through reading about it. I want to discuss not only what you learned, but how you applied that knowledge into your life, and also to understand more about your manifestation journey up until this point. Of course, we'll talk about this period since I've gotten to know you and things like that, but up until that point, what did you feel that was useful? What are some of the manifestation stories that you have, or some of the knowledge that you learned that was helpful?
I learned that if I had a negative mindset, that basically misery loves company. So if you want to have a kvetching group, you can easily find that. And if you had a positive mindset and focused on just positive things, you're going to attract people that want to be inspired and motivated. And it feels good to be positive and to be motivated. And I like to be in that mindset more often than the miserable spot. So
Okay.
that made sense.
Okay, so it gave you that positive mindset that it was useful, and that's cool. And I just want to establish here that the point of this episode, of course, is for everybody, the viewers, to watch this, to understand like how to manifest their lives like easily and joyously and quickly, and be able to really manifest anything and everything they want without limitation. So I'm kind of sharing that with you as I'm sharing it here, with the viewers, that there's no accidents. You are here for a reason, and you're listening and watching this episode. So knowing that intention, it gives you an idea of what you can expect and why you're here, so that you leave with more clarity and more access to the ability to manifest anything that you want. So I'm kind of being upfront and talking about that now. So let me ask you, back to what you were talking about. You had this positive mind frame, and you felt that by reading those books or listening to those people, that this gave you an opportunity to think more positively, which then what gave you more satisfaction in life? Or how did it help you with your happiness and success?
I just felt good. I felt motivated, and I got more things done. And I was more inspired to learn. I was just more curious, I guess. It just opened a door. So I started reading more and more books. I read the Silva Mind Control, Jose Silva, Mind Control Method. I read You're Born Rich by Bob Proctor. Also just intrigued by consciousness, and read My Big Toe, Tom Campbell. Also listened to a lot of YouTube videos, and I found you on Jeff Mars podcast. And I also, in the past, I had facilitated intuitive development webinars for a woman named Denise Lascano, and I saw some interesting things happen there. So I'm just intrigued by just how powerful we are, and how powerful consciousness is, and having the right mindset, and how much you can do. And really, the sky's the limit. There's no reason to have any limitations and have old programs running in your head anymore. Working with you has really taught me that I can just throw a lot of that stuff away and start fresh with just inventing new things every day and focusing on my 3 ways of being, revisiting that throughout the day and making sure, okay, am I going off course? Recalibrate. I'm loved today, I'm positive today, or I'm patient today, or I'm calm, depending on however I want to show up. And just focusing on that mindset for whoever I'm going to meet during the day, my work meetings, things just seem to go so much more smoothly. And I don't have any specific expectations of how my day is going to unfold, but I do focus on how I want to feel and certain things I want to get done during the day. And doing that, it's just been amazing with how many things that have shown up in my life. So, just when we first met, I did have, I'm an open-minded skeptic. I was curious. I wanted to learn a little bit more, but, I'm open-minded. But I really liked your pitch about how suffering is optional. And I believe that. And I felt inspired by you and your positive mindset.
I just want to say that came from the Jeff Morris show. Jeff
Yep.
titled the interview "Suffering is Optional." So for those of you out there wondering, like, what is she talking about? She's pitching this. It was in that interview that we did touch on that subject, and he thought that was a great thing to point out and use in the title so people do understand, yes, suffering is optional. And that there's ways to not suffer. Now, people have heard that before. Suffering is optional. People have heard you don't have to suffer in life and things like that. But that does nobody good unless you know how to actually access a suffering left. A life without suffering. Okay. So you got to have the tools and the know-how to do that for that to be a reality. So I just wanted to clarify that for anybody who's watching this interview. And also I wanted to ask you too, like, what did you, okay, so we've been working together for about 2 months or so. How is this different using the AOM system, using a methodology such as this versus anything else that you had tried before?
There's a real process to this. So there's a real daily regimen that I could follow, real tools, real substance. Whereas the secret, very squishy. It's vague. It's set on realistic expectations without a real roadmap. So I love that there's a real roadmap here and a real process flow I can follow, every day. And it's very easy to do. And it's been amazing with some of the breakthroughs that I've made. Like some of my main goals were to reduce my anxiety. I had an unhealthy relationship with my job. I wanted to be healthier, eat better, sleep better, exercise more, and improve my relationship with my work, because I'm a workaholic. I grew up just, you have to work really hard in order to make money. And this whole process is just my day, just the meetings just work out magically now. I would get double booked, and it's just amazing how my schedule just kind of just recalibrates every day to my convenience. I don't know how it happens, but with the right mindset and emotionally thinking about how my day's going to unfold before it starts has definitely helped things work out. I also had wanted to embark on a professional music project. And so the music project is what really surprised me the most. It was that kind of a long shot for me. I couldn't sing as a kid, but I worked hard and I improved. And now I really wanted to focus on that and figured, well, you're a musician also. So I kind of related to you in that way, which was, another reason why I wanted to work with you. And now just amazing talent has popped into my life in the form of like the super band I'm working with now. I'm working with a guitarist that plays with Rod Stewart, Rob Thomas, and the B-52s. I have Lisa Fisher's drummer, and she's the Rolling Stones backup singer. I was a fan of hers when I was a kid, and she's, you know, her on Gimme Shelter, so I'm working with her drummer, and then the money to create my music project the way I want has materialized, and every day is a new surprise. Like, who's going to show up now? How is everything going to happen? And I focus on my 3 ways of being, reflect on that a few times a day. I've written, just every day I just write things out. I create my day on my Microsoft OneNote, and I focus on how I'm going to feel as all the great things I'm creating are happening, and then magically everything just unfolds in its own way.
Right? Yeah. And you just recently shared with me how this unexpected windfall of money came into your life, enough to buy a new car. Like, you didn't
Yes.
expect that, you know, but you were manifesting that abundance in your
Yeah.
life and things like that. But here it comes in the most unexpected way.
Yeah. What thing do I start talking about first? Really, it's like so many things, and it's only been a little over 2 months, so it's really exciting.
It is. It's really amazing. I mean, look, let's break down those areas of your life, of our lives. You know, you have working career, you got hobbies, you've got health, you've got relationships, you've got finances.
Yep, lost 15 pounds. So
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's just take each category, right? And
yeah.
that is so amazing. I mean, it's so inspiring. Even for me to hear this, I'm like teaching this stuff, but just hearing this each time is just so awesome. So number one, in health, you had the anxiety and depression, whoop, and then the physical stress and pains and aches.
Yes, the chiropractor, like magically this chiropractor, I've been working with 4 different chiropractors, finally found the right one and just snapped me back into shape quickly. So I'm like a new person now. Like everything, people are showing up that are specialists in all the right areas that I need right now.
Right, right. And so now, like, all those stressful ailments, if you will, like, have been like washed away. You lost 15 pounds. What else can you say about your health that you materialize in less than whatever it's been, 60 days?
I can sleep better. I have the peace and calm. When I came to you, I was just very, very anxious. I was a nervous wreck. I was just so busy, and I couldn't get my schedule organized. I was really overwhelmed, and I wasn't sure how I would find my way out of it, and just constantly stressed.
Yeah. And then let's go back. We're gonna retouch on the part about your music career situation. So when you came to me, there was really nothing going on with that, right?
No, no, I mean, I wanted to. It was one of those things on the list. Will I get to it? It was always on the back burner because the day job always just sucked up so much of my time and energy. So I wasn't having that creative bug that I used to. Is I was too overwhelmed to think creatively. And then soon as everything started to open up, I found more peace with my job, my work life relationship just started to improve right away, and that opened up more time for the creative mind to open up. And I wrote this beautiful song that just kind of came out of nowhere. The best songs are always written so quickly. So I had some ideas how to put it on my iPhone, and then just people started to show up in my life. So thanks to this Facebook, people just started showing up. It's just
Excellent.
miraculous.
Right. And so now you're making this dream of music come true with top star players, real pros, names, and then you've got like your work, your job, and all of that working out. And this is where the big windfall of money came from.
That's right. That's
And
right.
How did
But
that change for you? What's different about your job now?
well, I feel like I have the peace. I just trust that things are going to work out. So I have less time spent just with my wheels turning in nervous energy. So I could just focus on my ways of being. If I focus on being calm or being patient, my mind is clearer. And I know how I want to feel, and I just focus on the feeling and basically what I want to accomplish each day. And just by doing that, and then the release letters too, like to talk about that, just my unhealthy relationship with my job. So I wrote a release letter to my job or any people in my life that gave me anxiety. So that just helped me release it, and I just feel like just calm and peaceful, and I get more things done, and then the miracles start happening, the stuff that I don't even have to think about doing. Like no effort was required for some things to just come into my life, like the new people that I'm meeting, and then getting a windfall of money for a project that I did that I wasn't, I didn't expect it. So
Mm-hmm.
which gave me the money to do the music project the way I want to do. And that was just one big lump sum. Then there's other projects that are coming in too that are going to keep this music, you know, just like blossoming. There's just so many things that I want to do with the music that I can do now.
Yeah. And your music is beautiful. Your voice is beautiful. Your songs are amazing. So,
Thank
can
you.
you share with us like what your intentions are, what you're manifesting, what you're creating as far as like putting this out so the public has access to it?
Yeah, so I'm working on two EPs. I'm going to do two extended play albums, short albums. Each one is going to be a little bit different because they're two different styles, as I'm working with different people on each one. And I dug up a lot of old material that I had, and I'm just bringing it back to life, as well as a new song that I just wrote that's brand new, that's called Perfect Love, and that's going to be coming out also. So I'll be releasing it, I say maybe in the next 2 or 3 months. I should have it all done, and just putting out to the regular, Spotify or iTunes, as well as my website, which I'm building now. So I'm really putting a focus on all of that, and I'm putting it at the forefront, which I've always wanted to do that since I was a little kid, but felt it was a long shot. And now I feel like I'm supposed to do this, and I am.
Excellent. I love
So
this. And also, what about the other areas of your life? We've talked about career and we've talked about job, your music career and your job, but and your health. But what about relationships and travels, hobbies, and things like that?
yeah, so my one of my other bucket list items is to go to Paris, and now the money coming in, booked the trip, got a great deal on a beautiful Airbnb right in the heart of Paris, and got a great deal on airfare. So that was one of those things that I had on my board, my picture of the Eiffel Tower, of course. So that will be happening in April, which I think is a beautiful time, springtime in Paris. That's what we're gonna do.
Excellent. And also, you've been doing all these other things too that you've been sharing with me. Like you had this great weekend with your husband. And so, can you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about other like adventures that you've had?
Yeah, so as far as putting it into my daily map, I didn't expect to end up in St. Augustine this weekend. We did go to a wedding in Jacksonville, and so part of my day was just to have unexpected surprises, and one of those was everything lined up just time wise to go see a beautiful, well, a fun band. There was an R&B band downtown Jacksonville, so we got to see that, which was totally unexpected. We expected to just go to bed and fly back home, and then we were able to go to St. Augustine for the day and saw beautiful shops. And none of this was anything that I expected. I just wanted an unexpected surprise, so I baked that into my day, and an exciting day unfolded on the beach. We had brunch on the beach at a restaurant called The Reef in St. Augustine Beach, and then flew home last night. Well, got home early in the morning. So didn't expect to do all of that. I just expected I was going to go to a wedding and then come home. So that was something that just happened, which was a nice surprise.
You know what's amazing to me is that you have the time, the energy, you have all those inner resources that we all really need to do all of this. Like most people are probably thinking, how do you have a career like that, a job like that? Like you have
Yeah.
projects, you're going on vacations and you're losing weight and you're healthier than ever, all this stuff. It's like really amazing. And you're doing it all at once. And
Yeah.
people struggle with just trying to do one or the other.
Yeah, my friends and family are saying, I look at you on Facebook and I'm tired. Like, it looks great. What are you doing? It's like so super cool. But how do you have the time and energy to do that? And you know what? I have more energy than I did before, doing a lot less. So that's the really interesting part.
Yeah, and so how would you how would you explain the mystery behind that?
I think I have peace now and I trust spirit, I trust source. I know like if I'm my authentic self, things just work out. As long as I'm authentic and consistently keep that positive mindset, things fall into my lap.
This
And people
makes
that look at me like, yeah, how do you get so lucky? How did that happen? How did you do that? Like, I don't know. I'm just focusing on the right things. And I'm it's putting out positive energy and it's contagious. I think other people feel it too, and they feel inspired as well. But it's really exciting how powerful this is. And I love your system, how nicely and easily it's laid out. And it works. It just works.
It does work. It really works. In fact, when you first came to me as that healthy skeptic and everything, what kind of trepidation did you have? And also, how do you think you overcame it?
Well, I think, some of these programs, they're not cheap. They're not, but I felt that I needed to make a commitment, and in some way, it being expensive, I also felt the cost would motivate me to be more dedicated to it. And I do believe that there is a lot of power behind it. And I, read a little bit about you online and learned a little bit about the program. So I felt, I really feel like I need to take this leap of faith. Something inside me was just burning, like, you got to do it, you got to do it, you got to do it. And I'm so glad I did.
Right? Okay, good. That's because I think a lot of people want positive changes, but everybody wants to live a successful, happy life. Everybody's got that in common. That's a fact. And if you could tell them there is a way to do that, there's a roadmap, there's some tools, who would who wouldn't say yes to that, right? But
Yeah.
then they get stopped by maybe they don't believe it's true or that it's actually possible, or maybe they get stopped because they're concerned about making that kind of investment in their life. Did you share any of those kinds of concerns? And what can you say? I kind of say, like, you're on the other side. What would you say to those that can't see? You were one of those people who couldn't see what was on the other side yet. Did you have to take that leap of faith, or what allowed you to do that, to walk into the unknown?
I definitely know I needed a change. I wasn't liking my mindset. I knew I needed to change my mindset, and I wanted a solid program that was going to help me get there. So yeah, I just wanted to take that leap of faith. And I didn't want to suffer anymore. And I do believe that suffering is optional. So I don't know. I felt like I needed to do it.
And you're glad you did. That's the most
Absolutely.
important thing.
Look at what's happened. You've been along for the ride. You hear every time we meet up. What's happened now? What
I know, and it really is amazing. I'm glad that we're talking right here because I think that, yeah, I know that you posted a review, but it's still so hard for people to believe that a life can change that dramatically in every area in, less than 2 months or whatever, right? And didn't you also say that you had created what you wanted your year to look like? You wanted your year to look like your biggest fantasy. If I could say this happened in my past 12 months, in my last year, I would be so happy. And yet here you've accomplished everything in
90% of the way there already in 3 months. I just
90%.
haven't decided on the car yet. And that's because I want to still shop for it because it's fun. So
Right? I mean, that's incredible. And I think that people just are just like, would be blown away to know this. But here you are, you're living proof that this works. And that not only that, but you did it in record time in just less than like 2 months. Here we are. You accomplished all of that. We're just a little over 2 months. And you had accomplished all of that. So it is very doable. And as long as you're a human being and you want change, it's inevitable, is what I always say.
yeah, I think for people, it sounds too good to be true. And I think that's probably what people have the hesitation about. What, I can have anything I want. I can, really the hard part is just figuring out, what do you want? And that's the fun part, though. It's a hard part, but it's a fun part. So if you really know what you want and you lay it out and very clear and how you're going to feel about it after you accomplish it, and focus on it daily and focus on the positive feeling that you're going to get as you complete each task or as you're doing it, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. And also, I wanted to ask you about relationships. How is that different now? Relationships are such an important aspect of our lives.
So for me, if I'm anxious or nervous or just stressed out, how I showed up to people in the past were things didn't really always go my way. Meetings were not as smooth. Relationships with my family could sometimes be tense. But if I show up focusing on one of my 3 ways of being, and it's a good way of being, if I'm calm, if I'm positive, if I'm energetic, and I really make that conscious effort to focus on that, that everything just works out. Whether my meetings run smoothly, I get everything done that I need to get done. People around me in my circle are happy, like the right people show up, positive people, happy people, people that are helpful, people that are respectful and courteous and motivated and creative like me. So, like attracts like, and misery loves company. Where do you want to be? I want to show up with a happy face, and I want happy people around me. Come join my party. Let's have some fun. Let's be creative.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the same thing. Knowing what you know now about manifesting, what did you discover that was surprising or that you didn't know through using the AOM system? And what would you have told your prior self?
I think the speed in which things unfolded. And you told me when we first met, oh, you got this, it'll be just fine. Because I didn't expect that, just the first week or two, things started happening. So I guess that's one thing that I didn't think was going to happen right away.
Okay. So the speed that you can actually manifest, that
Yeah.
is what surprised you, that you could do it so quickly.
Yeah.
What do you attribute to break in the speed of manifesting, the speed of sound? No, what do you attribute to breaking that preconceived notion? Why do you think you're able to actually accelerate your manifestations in record time?
Well, I saw like the first results happening, and then I got motivated as one small stride was successful, and then the next stride, and it just built up my confidence in it. So it wanted me to keep moving forward. So I think just seeing the results right away and knowing I felt better, started getting better sleep. I woke up happier. I was getting more done, and money was coming in, and opportunities were showing up. And slowly but surely, I started, making things happen.
Yeah. And I hear that, it makes me think about how our experience of life and our results in life are a product of what we believe, our
Yes.
belief system. So when you start changing what you believe so you can get different results in the very beginning, do you think that that had a big hand in getting the different results that you always wanted in your life?
Yeah, that is true, and that's the release letters definitely helped with that. And the old programs that loop in your head, like you have to work really hard in order to get the results, and you have to put in some effort, but it could be easier. It is easier. Things just kind of they flow better.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, this is great that we're talking about this because I think a lot of people would agree that what they believe is responsible for how their life is. I think we can find a large number of people who agree with that. But what I think is really relational here is you talking about your, like some of your past beliefs. And you shared one, which is like, I have to work hard to make things happen. I have to drain myself of every ounce of energy to make things happen, right? Which you discovered is not true. So you don't live like that anymore. And that's why you have all this energy to live so fully in all areas of your life. Like your friends say, how do you do that? And you're like, I just do it with the tools that I have. I do it and it's doable and it's not draining and it's easy. And you do have the time, money, and energy that you think you don't, which is why you get stopped. That's why people get stopped. I don't have the time, money, and energy. But that's not true.
I have more energy now. It's just crazy how much more I'm doing, so much more than was doing before. And now I have more energy than when I was doing a lot less. So that's what's so interesting about it. And I'm really excited to keep creating more. Like what am I going to create every day? That's the best part of my day is the morning, where it used to be the worst part of my day because I would wake up so anxious and just worry about what's going to happen today. Oh no, expect the worst and wait for it to happen. Something like that. That was like horrible, horrible mindset when I was in a really bad way and things were difficult. So now, I expect the best. Why not? Why not? Why can't I expect wonderful things to happen? Bring it on. Bring on the good stuff.
And now that's the way your life is.
Yeah, every day. Every day.
It
There's no
reminds me,
reason.
I have a client, Jennifer, who had written a testimonial, and she says she wakes up saying, "What magic is next?" Because there always is. So it sounds like that. It's like, it's, yeah, excellent. That's the way we want to start our day for sure. So what are some of the old beliefs that you had that made you kind of stuck?
Um, yeah, my dad was always like, you have to work really hard and have a career that has security. Security, and that's it. Just settle for a job that's stable. And I'm a creative person, free spirit, and always wanted to be an artist or a musician. And that was always something I was passionate about when I was a kid. And I did settle. I started out my career as an elementary school teacher, and I did that for 2 years. And wasn't for me, but it was what I thought was the safe route to go. So then it morphed into e-learning, and I've been riding that wave for almost 25 years now. And I really do love what I do, but it was starting to get monotonous and I needed a little creative burst of energy. So now I'm putting music into my e-learning. So I'm marrying those two, which my clients love the fact that I'm really creative, adding music, adding cartoons and animation and doing all kinds of interesting things. And that brings in more money, more projects that are fueling the music that I can do now.
Right. So everything is interwoven and working. Like it's a dance through life.
It
It's no
is.
longer a struggle. It's just everything is just flowing, like you were saying, it's working together in
Yep.
harmony.
Yep. It's a well-oiled machine now. I think I know I have the tools now, and it's wash, rinse, and repeat every day. But, tweak it, experiment, put
Right.
those like new surprises every day. But there's a good solid process behind it. And you make it easy to follow between the book and the coaching that you've given me. It's a great roadmap.
Yeah. Excellent. I love this. And I love how you've had this breakthrough in pursuing your dream, and instead of getting stopped like before with that hard wiring belief that, no, you must do something that's secure and this and that, and not really follow your heart or follow or fulfill on your purpose, and be able to trust and soar with that as you're doing now.
Yep.
But that breakthrough is incredible, because I know there's a lot of people out there that have a yearning for a certain life. It's in their dreams, it's in their fantasies, but they can't access it. And this could be a career choice, like for you, right? It could be something like that. It could be something about like having loving relationships, trusting loving relationships. It could be that there's something that they yearn for, more time to do things like we're talking about, more time, money, and energy. These are certain desires that people have. But I believe that there's something in everyone's life that they dearly want that they can't seem to access, maybe at least one thing, if not many things. And so I think it's important for people to know that there is a best kept secret out there. In other words, there are tools, there is a roadmap, there is a way to achieve anything. This is not, you are, in fact, are not, what is it called? The best, wait, results may vary. This is not a little disclaimer saying results may vary. You're not the exception, right?
No.
No, you're not. You've read the reviews. Everybody has so many, very dramatic experiences using this system. So I want people to know, because a lot of people think, well, it might work for her, but it's not going to work for me. But we're,
Everyone will have the different results, but there'll be positive results.
yeah,
It's going to
everybody's going
unfold in
to
its
want
own
different,
way.
everybody's going to want different things, of
Mhm.
course. But the level of the dramatic results that people have been experiencing, that's been very, very consistent. And I always say that we're all the same. We're simply human beings, with strengths and weaknesses. We're human beings with limitations, but potential. We're made up of the same stuff. Nobody is more luckier or anything like that. They didn't come in just, it doesn't work like that. We're human beings. And we've got these things that work for us and things that don't, and stuff like that. But what we all really are missing is the tools and the roadmap and the ability to access this, because we do live in a land of plenty. There is not a land of scarcity. No, we can all have our version of an ideal, perfect life if we just have the tools. And I think one of the things I was going to ask you about is what was surprising that you learned through this. We might have talked about this before, how what you were taught or hardwired to believe was actually not even close to the truth. It might have been the opposite of what's actually true, such as the work ethic thing, and how you have to work hard, or blood, sweat, and tears to achieve anything. When you don't, you can actually slide and glide and soar and fly through to your goals, right? So
Yeah,
what do
just
you have to say?
the ease of the day of everything working out. Surprise phone calls like, hey, this new opportunity is here, or this person wants to work with you. And like, how did this happen? I didn't do anything. It just falls in my lap.
Yeah, but you did do something, because you had changed that belief system. You're now actually able to create the day that you would like to experience from in the morning, and
Hmm.
review it and see that you're getting 90% or 100%. This is what you've told me that you've actually written out for yourself, when you review it.
Yep.
Like the percentages are high. So now you understand how to manifest because you're doing it every day and you're staying on track by doing it and you're getting the results that you want on a daily basis is keeping you on track, right?
Yep.
So gaining that ability, you know, is something that only comes after you've been able to rewrite your stories or blocks that have stayed in the way, change the faulty belief system that has gotten in the way, right? Like that has to come first. There's 4 stages, right? We got to go through those 4 straight stages. Transform that belief system that holds you back. Learn how to create.
Self-sabotage, those faulty self-sabotage every time, every time. So why not do the opposite? If you try the opposite, things just work out. I'd
Right.
rather choose that path.
Right.
Choose the easy path. It's an option. Choose that option.
Choose that option. Exactly. So the second thing is about how to create that future. Just like an art form in itself, how do you stay on track? What's the importance of being? And why does that play such a part? These are all the things that we talk about, you know, in the first week that we worked together. And then it was like manifestation taken off. But so how important are these tools? How important is this newfound knowledge to your life now?
It's a big part of my life now. Big part. It's my everyday. My everyday when I wake up. That's what I'm doing. And then I reflect on each day that I've created in the past, and just reflecting on that is wonderful to see. Well, did that. It's wonderful to look back and see how it all worked out, and look at the percentages of what I've accomplished each day and how I felt about it. And that just propels me into the next day to do it again. And the excitement of creating a new day with a new surprise.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. I get that. So here you are 90% of the way through your 12 months. Yeah. And you've only got 10% to complete. How does that make you feel?
It's ecstatically happy. Ecstatically happy. This was worth every bit of the money and my investment of time. And it's a new beginning. It really is a new beginning. And every day's a new day, and I feel excited and happy. Where I was like, oh my goodness, what's this day gonna be? This nervous, this constantly a nervous wreck. And that caused the tenseness in my neck and my shoulders. And it was just a compounding wheel of anxiety and pain, and just a bad pattern that I needed a break. And I didn't know like what to try. So I figured I took that leap of faith and let's see what happens. Give it a shot. And that's what I did. And I'm so glad that I did. And thank you for all of your help and your support every step of the way. It's been fun. It's been fun.
And I am so glad to be on this journey with you. And I am so honored that you allow me to be your coach. But it's just I flash back to when we first spoke, and I knew that we were going to be having this conversation.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that you felt that confidence and you knew that we were going to get there. We were going to get there and we were going to have this conversation, and you were able to take that leap of faith, you know, and it was worth it. You know, everybody gets a little confronted when entering into that's natural. That's natural to feel a bit of trepidation. But what's actually not natural is not to honor yourself or to deny yourself or deprive yourself. You know, that's not natural, you know, but acting in faith and stepping out and stepping up for yourself to have an extraordinary life, that's natural, because that's what we're here to do, is live an extraordinary life fully and fulfill a purpose and enjoy this brief ride on this
Some of those
glorious
pictures
planet.
I sent you in the recording studio, I recorded at Power Station. It's amazing, like really, really professional, real deal, $37,000 microphone and the whole like isolated rooms and the team I work with and the song is just sounding so fabulous. It's just so exciting to be doing this. This was like a dream a couple of months ago.
Right? A distant dream, but here it is. And
Yep.
what advice or message would you give anyone who's watching that is interested in the manifestation process?
Have an open mind. And it's not too good to be true. It's what you want it. It's exactly what you want it to be. What do you want it to be? What do you want to, who do you want to be today? What do you want to do? You can do whatever you want. It's just a matter of deciding on what it is, getting it on paper and focusing on a positive mindset and follow your map. You have the map, you have the coaching and the support and surrounded by love and authenticity, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, excellent. Really good. Now, if people want to contact you about your music or to ask you questions about manifesting, would you be open to that? And if so, do you have an email address or anything that you can share?
Yeah, I'm Josette Marie on Facebook. And my husband and I also have a fan page. It's called Jam. It's Josette and Mark Mancini, Music and Media. So we're on Facebook. We're very active on Facebook with music. And feel free to send me an email at josettemancini@icloud.com.
Excellent. Yes.
No,
Thank you. Thank you
you know,
for being here. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So happy to be here. Happy to be a part of this and hopefully inspired some other people to get on board with this because it's so powerful. You're powerful. Everybody's powerful. Just believe it. It's what you believe. If you believe it, it will be.
Yes, that's right. If you believe it, it will be. And act like you said, everything is possible, everything is doable. It's just a matter of having the tools and be able to tap into that. There are no such thing as limitations, no constraints, no limitations whatsoever. If you can conceive it, believe it, it will be. But people have a hard time doing that because they just don't have the tools. We're talking about here the accessibility for having just that. And, you shared your stories. So it's yet another powerful testimonial. And I want to thank you again so much for that. I'm gonna wrap up this show and invite everybody to visit the website getyourlifenow.com for more information about manifesting. We've got some great tools on there and information for mastering the manifestation process. And continue to tune in, subscribe to our channel at the AOM Art of Manifestation channel on YouTube. We've got great content here. Subscribing is the way to support us to continue to put content out there that is designed to help you master the manifestation process. So thank you again for being here. And until next time, manifest magic and miracles. And I'll see you then. Thank you.